So this morning at 2:42 in the morning, I was coming back from somewhere and I stopped by Royal Farms and I got me some fried chicken and I got me some potato wedges. And for anybody who doesn't know, this place, Royal Farms, makes some of the best fried chicken, some of the best potato wedges you can ever eat, or it used to. Um, in the last 15 years, I've been to Royal Farms numerous times, and their food has been absolutely outstanding. But the times that I've been at Royal Farms was during daytime, and during times when the chicken was turned over due to the busyness of the place. So I fully expected when I got my chicken from Royal Farms this morning that it might be in the bin. They have stainless steel bins that they have to set the fried chicken and potatoes in, and it sits in there and it just cooks because they have to hold it at like 170 degrees or they can serve you something that's going to make you sick. So, I expected it to be old. I didn't expect it to be fresh. And it wasn't. The chicken wasn't fresh. The potato wedges were okay. They were a little dry, but they were okay. So that's why I got the sauces that you see here. I got their jalapeno cheese sauce going with the potatoes. It's almost legendary. And I got the buffalo sauce. Now, the jalapeno cheese sauce you pay for $1.29. It's called Nacho Cheese PLU 200. The free sauces is the honey mustard, the buffalo, and the ranch. Now the ranch and the honey mustard, as you can see, come in a pre-made bin. The buffalo is actually looks like it's done by the employee at the store, as is the jalapeno cheese. But I had a real bad experience with this, and I'm just really really unhappy from the standpoint of what's going on, Royal Farms, because when I got to the bottom of this, the smell that came out of the bottom of the box was not the smell of fryer oil. It had a machine oil smell to it, and almost like burnt automatic transmission fluid. If you've ever worked on cars and you've worked on cars that have burnt their transmissions up, and you pull that transmission fluid out and it's kind of a brown burnt smell, it's a smell you never forget. Almost, it's strange. It was I went between burnt automatic transmission fluid and manual transmission fluid, but it doesn't smell like organic fryer oil. And the reason this happens is because, first off, you got to understand it. Companies that use fryer oil, food service companies that use fryer oil, are always fighting a battle, and God bless them for fighting it. Companies, two places I want to single out for absolutely stellar, outstanding fried food is Popeyes, and also, believe it or not, Hardee's. Hardee's has a deal on their chicken fingers, fries, and a soda. It used to be $5. Now it's $6. But their hand-breaded chicken tenders with their honey mustard sauce that they provide is absolutely outstanding. But now you got to understand, this is during regular business hours, okay? So this was me dropping into the Royal Farms at 2:42 in the morning. And the chicken's been sitting there probably for 2 hours in the bin or 3 hours in the bin, getting hard. And the potatoes were a little bit dry, but the potatoes were okay. They seemed a little bit less. They put a coating on their potatoes. They're steak fries, and I'm telling you, if you get them during business hours, they are some of the best steak fries in the damn business. But what concerns me the most is the smell that came out of the bottom of this container as I was finishing it. I was like going, and I was hungry, and I trust Royal Farms because I've been going to Royal Farms for, like I said, 15 years. And their food has always been outstanding. Now, this place is at 4 Commerce Parkway in Fredericksburg. It's right next to a Popeyes. And I've gotten chicken from them before. During, I think the latest I went was like 11 o'clock. And that's during the normal times when people are up and around and you get, motion at that chicken counter. When people are buying chicken. So you get a turnover so the chicken doesn't sit. But what concerned me about this smell coming out of this box here. Now, I got some of the chicken here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's, it's a little dark, which it's going to be a little bit dark. I couldn't even eat, I couldn't finish this. I finished the potatoes, but the smell that came out of the bottom of this box was what it is it's burnt fryer oil. Okay, now, and the thing is, it's fryer oil that's been used and cleaned and used and cleaned and used and cleaned until it's been used and cleaned to death. And I suspect that judging from these condiments here, that we're facing an entire situation with Royal Farms here, which has nothing to do with the person who made the chicken. Okay, now I want to send a shout out to the young man who went and got my chicken, and the young lady who was in the store at the time, the 2 employees, because the young lady was working her butt off cleaning the floor. She was actually doing something. She was actually working. And the young man was doing something too. And as soon as he heard the tone for the completed order, he got up, he went and he got the chicken, he put it in the container and he gave it to me. I got all my stuff within, I'd say, a minute and a half of the tone going off. So the service was excellent. But that fryer oil, I don't know, there are certain grades of fryer oil. And McDonald's made a mistake a long time ago about using a fryer oil called Olestra, which was a polymer reinforced oil. And polymer to me means plastic. And it didn't go well for McDonald's, and they stopped using it. And one of the things I used to laugh about with this Olestra that McDonald's used to sell was they would tell the customer, well, it does have the potential for giving you diarrhea, but it won't harm you. And the reason that the polymer was approved by the FDA was because it would pass through your intestines. You would not absorb it in your blood. But it would make it would make you go to the bathroom. And this smell that's in this box, I wish you could smell what this smells like. You could see at the bottom here that the box is soaked through. But this smell, it did give me diarrhea. This chicken did give me diarrhea. I finished it. I got it home. I got home about, I want to say maybe 3:10. And I ate it from about 3:10 to about, 3:10 to about 3:40, about a half hour. And man, when I got to the bottom of that box, I started getting concerned because I was going, man, it's just something doesn't smell right here. But also, before we get to that, was the unbelievably bad quality of the condiments. The honey mustard sauce and the ranch dipping sauce were like water. The ranch dipping sauce didn't have any spice to it. The honey mustard didn't have any taste to it. Now, part of that, I could see why the taste would have a problem if the chicken is just destroyed from sitting in a bin, okay? But it was more than that, because this sauce, man, it was like water. It was absolutely like water. I couldn't believe it. I opened it up and said, there's no thickness to this. What's going on? And the ranch sauce without spices in it, I was like going, how in the hell do you make ranch sauce without no spice in it? So, and then we went to this stuff here. This is like water. This buffalo sauce, I think you see me moving this. This buffalo sauce is like water. So what it tells me is somebody's telling the guy at the counter to put water in the buffalo sauce to extend the amount. If you take a gallon of buffalo sauce, which is thick, which is supposed to have spice in it, and you add a half a gallon of water to it, guess what? It lasts a lot longer because you can make that many more bins of it and give it to the customer. But the customer gets buffalo water, not buffalo sauce, okay? And then this cheese sauce, that was one of the most disappointing parts of it, because every time I've ever got that cheese sauce, there was some jalapeno spice in it. And they call it jalapeno cheese sauce when you order it. They don't call it nacho cheese. And it was pretty much tasteless. So you got old chicken and old potatoes cooked in old oil that's been recycled over and over and over. And I suspect that this is a complete failure of quality, but not because of the kid who's cooking the chicken. It's because some executive vice president decided, you know what, we can save money. And why would he do that? Well, because he's paid on a quarterly bonus scale, okay? And what he does is he goes in and he looks at his vendors and he says, you know what, we spend a hell of a lot of money on that high quality frying oil, but we could buy this other oil over here that's, polymer reinforced, and it's 30% cheaper. So what he does is he goes and gets that, okay? And then when you get down to these other condiments, the same thing happens. You start getting cheaper ingredients. And these honey mustard dipping sauces probably don't even come from them. It probably comes from a vendor that they buy from. And if that vendor is that company that is run by another executive vice president who is also trying to get his quarterly bonus, says, why are we putting spices, that much spices in our honey mustard sauce and that much spices in our ranch sauce? If you cut the spices back and you increase the water volume, then we can extend the amount of ranch sauce that's in our containers and the amount of honey mustard that's in our containers. We make more money. So in both situations, you're dealing with a greedy executive vice president who's trying to create a higher bonus for themselves by decreasing the value of the product. And the guy or the girl who's frying it at the store has absolutely nothing to do with it. They're stuck because they have to use this fryer oil. And there's a thing about fryer oil that people need to understand. There are heat cycle life cycles to fryer oil that you have to change them. You cannot use fryer oil over and over and over. You can't. Now, when you fry chicken, the number one thing that kills fried chicken is the breading that falls off of it into the bottom of the fryer. That, and also frying it at too high a temperature and holding the oil at too high a temperature for too long. And that absolutely destroys fryer oil. Now, the best fryer oil you can use, in my opinion, is natural lard, natural fat. And it turns out that it's actually some of the most healthiest oil too, even though they would tell you it's not. But this is where you get in the situation of how many heat cycles does the oil go through before it starts to degrade? Because what will happen with natural lard frying oil is, after so many heat cycles, it'll stop frying the food product. I've been through this actually, because I was a cook at Marriott for about 5 years, and we had a contract in Lorton to do work for a minimum security prison and an alcoholic rehabilitation center. The only one in the country. That was a great contract. That was a great crew I used to work for. But one of the things that we made sure of was that we used to clean that fryer oil out. And we pretty much, because we fed 1,200 people at a time, by the time those fryer bins had gone through about 2,000 pieces of chicken, probably 2,400 pieces of chicken, that oil was done. It was toast. So we might get one clean out of that oil, but we had to change it the next time. But this is the thing that these companies like Popeyes and like Hardee's and like Royal Farms especially, which makes its living off of this, have to deal with. So if they can get a synthetically reinforced oil that they're able to sit and just have it sit there and cook and cook and cook and cook and cook and cook and cook, there is a great big financial incentive to do that. So I don't know what happened with this stuff. I absolutely don't put any shade on the employee, because, like I said, these companies, they have very specific rules that their employees have to follow. But this meal I got was not Royal Farms quality product. And if they're using the type of oil that I think they're using, which I hope I'm wrong, and hopefully somebody will tune into this. But if they're using that type of extended life oil, I'm not, I trusted Royal Farms to give me a meal that would not give me diarrhea. And this was not it. So, I mean, and every time I took a dump, the smell of that fryer oil was in what was in the toilet. So I don't know what's going on there. I was very disappointed. And listen, this is one situation at one Royal Farms. This is not the whole chain, okay? So, and also, I would also recommend that you go during regular business hours when there is turnover in the bins. There is a I've actually got great chicken from this Royal Farms, okay? Several weeks ago. I got great chicken and great potatoes from this chain, from this particular store. And there is a Royal Farms right up the road. Literally, this is a very weird situation that on Route 17 in Fredericksburg, they have two Royal Farms so close together. Right up the road, across from a Walmart, is another Royal Farms. And I have never got a bad meal from them. And those people have always been wonderful and personable and great employees. Same with these two employees, but this food was not good, and it was not Royal Farms quality. And after I had to down some Pepto-Bismol, and I'm very blessed that I have charcoal tablets, which, if you don't know about charcoal tablets are good for poisoning. If you eat something that is absolutely bad in your stomach and you take charcoal tablets, the charcoal will actually absorb whatever that is. And then you will excrete it out when you do a number 2 on the toilet. So that's on its way. Unfortunately, charcoal tablets have the bad characteristic of making you feel like you're pooping glass blades, broken glass. So that's going to be fun. But the diarrhea is starting to subside, and I feel better than I did this morning. Man, after I ate this stuff and I smelled that smell, and I'm just like going, what did I just eat? So disappointed. Not so much in the employee, because like I said, they did a great job of getting me what I wanted, but this smell in the bottom of this tray, it matters. It matters what stuff smells like. It matters what stuff looks like. It matters what stuff feels like when you eat it. And this was a big miss. And I think that Royal Farms needs to look at their fryer oil cycles.